My name's Dudit, so builds and stuff. We're going to be taking a look at a Void Hunter build that'll be absolutely insane next week. We're going to be featuring some swords, some weakening effects, some new seasonal artifact perks, expanding Abyss, Void sources deal increased damage to weakened targets, and Void Hegemony. While you have a Void or Prismatic subclass equipped, defeating weakened targets provides you a Void overshield. We're also going to be looking at Blade Stamina for sword builds. Rapidly defeating combatants with a sword refunds ammo. So stay with me, I'm going to break all this down. We're going to have loads of weakening, loads of extra damage. The expanding Abyss is what we'll take a look at first. Void sources deal increased damage to weakened targets. So with Void subclasses, we've obviously got things like Echo of Undermining, which will always weaken things with grenades. So Echo of Undermining, your Void grenades weaken targets. We're going to get that extra damage from the seasonal artifact perk on top of that as well, which sounds already good. Echo of Harvest, Echo of Starvation. Echo of Harvest, defeat weakened targets, creates an Orb of Power or a Void Breach. Echo of Starvation to get your Devour going. So we're going to get extra damage to Void weakened targets, an Overshield, and we're going to be able to get Devour going all at once with this setup for a Void or Prismatic subclass. This actually suits a couple of exotics in the game. Buried Bloodline was the first one that sprung to mind. This is a Void sidearm. This weakens things with the Catalyst. It actually provides Devour, and while Devour is active, this weapon weakens on hit. So we're going to get extra damage just off the bat with the weakening effect of the Buried Bloodline. Heartshadow is another one. Heavy attacks made with full sword energy turn you invisible and fire exploding void projectiles, but this one has also got the perk on there, Shot in the Dark, which also weakens. So now if you can imagine something like Heartshadow, Buried Bloodline, with all of the stuff that I've just talked about, all the brand new seasonal artifact perks coming in next season, weakening things on the fly with your Heartshadow or your Buried Bloodline. Now Heartshadow is quite an underrated sword, and I do believe these two like little artifact perks and the already fragments that I've already got in the game will make this sword absolutely insane for next week. Really strong indeed in my opinion. We've also got Blade Stamina coming in, rapidly defeating combatants with sword, refunds ammo. So you can see with Heartshadow in this clip here, you can kill multiple enemies with the burst attack, and we're going to weaken again to get that weakening effect, extra damage from the seasonal artifact perk. So we're going to get loads of ammo back for our swords as well. We're also going to feature in some other swords going on. But expanding Abyss, again, Void sources deal increased damage to weakened target. It even suits things like Orpheus rigged tethers, just getting that 30%. Plus the extra damage. We don't know exactly what that's going to be yet from the expanding Abyss. But things like Orpheus rigs and tether, it's really going to buff these builds out. Obviously, even more. So it's going to be really strong. Just Void Hegemony, I just want to look at this one again. While you have a Void or Prismatic subclass equipped, defeating targets provides a small Void overshield. Now, this could be something like Repulsor Brace. It could actually be free, basically, Repulsor Brace. So we're going to be able to get loads of extra damage, get that Void overshield on top of that as well. And things, a couple of exotics in the game that will actually buff, again, is things like Gryfalcons Hauberk. As we know with the Gryfalcons, you can pop in and out of invisibility. With the Void Hegemony, we're also going to get a Void Overshield with this. It's actually going to buff the Gryfalcons Hauberk out a little bit as well. Obviously, again, as I mentioned earlier on, things like Orpheus rigged tethers, expanding Abyss is going to buff this out as well. So, all round buffs for all Void builds, but in particular a Hunter, what we're featuring today. Some other Void swords to consider is the Fallen Guillotine. Now, this can absolutely roll with some great perk combos. I got Surrounded and Frenzy on this one. I also got Whirlwind Blade. But you can pair this up with the Buried Bloodline. As I mentioned, the Buried Bloodline weakens on hit as well if you've got that Devour active. And if you've got something like the Gryfalcons Hauberk on, you can pop out of invisibility, and you're going to be getting that Void Overshield from the seasonal artifact perks and all the extra damage from the Void weakening buffs as well. So, all in all, I think Void Hunters, I think all builds are going to be great, but this one really stood out to me. The Gryfalcons Hauberk with, or even if you run something like Orpheus rigs with the Fallen Guillotine, Buried Bloodline setup, or a Heartshadow, and maybe something like a destabilizing rounds weapon as well. So I think all in all it's going to be absolutely insane, and as you can see here with Buried Bloodline, it's a very strong sidearm in my opinion, just applying that weakening on hit. So let me know what you think of this video. I hope you found it helpful. I'm looking forward to Tuesday. Catch you around. Have a great day.